Hey, it's me. I'm back and it is Mother's Day weekend. I take some time sometimes to record these. I have to be like in a mental state to do it. And I've been feeling pretty good here lately, so it's just kind of been hard to get into that headspace where I need to be to record the podcast the way that I want it. Because I don't want this podcast to be like my TikTok where it's super funny. Like you'll have my personality always, and I'll always know how to tell a story. But like when I tell these stories now, like on my podcast, I want you to feel the emotions that I feel or that I felt in the moment of everything. And not in a bad way. Like, I just feel like when you're telling a good story, if you're a good storyteller, then you can rise emotions in people. Sorry, I had to get my water because my mouth's dry as fuck. And, like, I just like to be at, like, I don't like to be so strict on my podcast. That's why I don't edit a lot. Now, I do go back over and read it, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But it's Mother's Day weekend, and Bailey's with her dad today, and I'm gonna pick her up later on tonight, or maybe in the morning. I'm not sure because of Mother's Day. But typically, for now, the way the schedule is with Bailey's school and stuff, she is with me most of the time, and with her dad on the weekends. And before it was he had her most of it. Like we would kind of split. So with middle school coming up and her going to middle school by him, which is we're in the same city, so Bailey's at that age now to where we can just go back and forth and let her decide where she wants to go. So that's what I basically been doing. I been feeling good since my surgery. I'm back in the gym. I'm not supposed to be lifting, but you know me. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm actually just going to do what my body will allow me to do. So I'm going light, but I'm enjoying being back in the gym. I'll tell you that much. Now, I did record in May 2nd. Like I had a breakdown. I came home and it was a weekend, and weekends tend to trigger me like because I'm actually alone and I don't have any distractions, and there's nothing that can distract me from the fact that I'm alone. And I think sometimes I need that, but then there's sometimes part of me is like, I was alone most of my life, even with people around me, but maybe I'm not the type of person that needs to be alone like that. So I always feel so guilty when I get back on a dating apps and I'm like talking to people. Like I feel so like I'm not being my authentic self. Like I feel so weak sometimes that sometimes I need to talk to a man. And just, I mean, it's nice to chalk it up. I'm not one of those women that like always talk about men, always need to be around men and all that shit. It's just, I've been single for 3 years now and I'm 39. I'll be 40 this year. And I'm happy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm really happy. Like, me and Bailey, we're going to go on vacation together for my birthday when I turn 40. I think we're going to go to Hilton Head or something like that, or Panama City Beach. I'm still in between the two. Because they're shorter beaches, they're closer to where I live, so it's like it is what it is. Or Orange Beach, I'm just not sure yet. But she's going to one beach, and her birthday's June 5th, and mine's July 22nd. So I told her that would be her birthday gift, me taking her to the beach, and I'm just really excited about that. And plus, I get to spend my 40th with her. I'm excited about that, and maybe Sean and the baby and Peyton can come too. But that's been about my life for the past. I did record with Raising Barbara Jean, and hold on, I want to say this right. Don't kill me, Ashley. Hold on. I recorded with a podcast a couple weeks ago, and I enjoyed it. I really had a good time, and hopefully they had me back. Like I really did enjoy. It's a Raising Barbara Jean and Wanda podcast, and I had a great time with them. They made me feel welcome. It was great. I enjoyed it. And that's my goal, like just to get my name and my podcast out there. So anybody that would like me to be on their show to talk about anything. I'm an open book. Clearly, if you see my TikTok, you know that I'm an open book. I'll talk just about anything. But I won't be talking negatively about my father's children. You will not ever see that. It's just, I just don't feel like that is, plus my kids are on like all the social media, and me personally as a mother, since it is Mother's Day and I can talk about this, me personally as a mother, I just feel I don't want to go that route. I don't want my kids to ever think that I'm in like a fight with their dad. I don't want them to see that toxicity. God, me and words. I just don't want them to see that. I don't care. And I have stories. I've had stories, back stories on stories. And I'm pretty sure they have stories on stories with me. Because when I was with them, I wasn't healed either, just like they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? We all live and grow. That's what people don't understand. Like, I really don't like to live behind the fact that we don't change. Like, you should be changing yearly. You should not be the same person you was a year ago. And if you are, then that's some self-growth that you need to figure out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to beat who the fuck I was last year. That's it. And like with Mother's Day, like I know a lot of people like get, take their mother. My mom's still an active addiction. And I have a lot of people write me like, hey, let's do a question and answer. Let's do this with your mom. And I'm like, you know what? I want to. I really do, because she's funny. She's entertaining. I get that. But to me, it's like when you grew up with that, and I'm getting emotional because it's my mom. It's like when you grew up with somebody always picking men over you, always picking drugs over you, always picking other people over you, your entire being makes you feel like you're not good enough. And it took a long time for me to heal these. And sometimes, and as you can tell right now, it still brings emotional stuff to me. I don't want anybody to think that I take light of the fact that my mother's on drugs. I just know how to tell a story to make it funny, because if you really listen, it's heartbreaking. It's not a funny story. And I love the fact that everybody loves my mom. But it was really hard having her as a mother, Everybody else had normal moms. Everybody else had moms that, like, did their laundry, did their stuff and cooked them dinner at night and talked to them, cared about what they said. I didn't have that. I didn't know anything about being a woman. I didn't learn anything about being a woman until I got older. I didn't even know that you were supposed, and it's embarrassing, like you think about things that, you're supposed to tell like your little girl and stuff. I didn't even know what a period was. So when I had mine, it was like fucking insane. And when the first time I had sex, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything about it. Everything I learned from sex was from a man. Taking my body too young. I didn't know. I really did grow up thinking that sex was just to please the man. I didn't know until I was older. I had never actually enjoyed sex. It was just to pass the time. It was just to make, I had the validation of like sleeping with, my boyfriends at the time. Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be doing that. I didn't feel connected. And even now as a single mother, or single woman, as a single woman, it's still hard. I had to look up, like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I emotionally connect during sex? And it's because I'm meeting people that don't want an emotional connection. They just want the sex part. And I feel things so deeply that I feel that. I know that. And all of it stems back, I love my mother, a lot. Even all her flaws. And it took me a long time, you guys, because I really hated her for a very long time in my 20s. From my teens to my 20s. Up until just recently, a couple years ago. I hated her. You could ask everybody I was with. They would say, you talked like shit about your mom. And they see me now and they're like, damn, I thought you hated your mom. Like, nah, like I was just a young kid. I was young and didn't know. You only get one mother, regardless if she's a drug addict, regardless if she did you dirty, regardless if all these things. Now, you don't have to be in her life. You don't. I'm not saying that you have to, ever. But as children like me, who grew up with a mother like that, we feel fucking bad. We feel sorry. And some days I wake up and I think, damn, man, I wonder what I would have been if I would have just had normal parents. So I just want that known, that I don't glorify all the shit that she does. I just say it in a way to make it funny, because that's the only way I can express it. With it being Mother's Day, I'm going to make this theme about my mother, because it should be about her. She's the one that gave birth to me. And you don't realize your patterns. You don't realize your lifestyles. You don't realize anything until you go back and take a look at your mother. And you're never going to heal until you learn to deal with the trauma your mother brought you, if you have that trauma. And I have a lot of mommy issues. Half the men that I talk to have mommy issues. I can spot them. That's why I get along with them well. That's why I connect with these men. Most of the men that I connect with on a level that's deeper than just sex, they have mommy issues. I'm feeling like a kink in there because it's like, I'm older, I'm knowledgeable, I'm wise, I listen, and I can always spot a man with mommy issues. I don't try to go after that. It just so happens that's what happens to be with me. And once I get to talk and get to know them, that's what I end up learning, that they have the mommy issues. I know immediately that it won't ever work with us because they have the mommy issues, and that's the whole reason why they're attracted to me. Because what people don't understand is, what men don't understand is, you guys want a woman that's in a reflection of the mother that you wanted. The mother that you have ideally in your head, not the physical one, not the one that was actually a drug addict and treated you bad and all this shit. You guys go after women that's similar to your mother in some ways. Not saying that, like, look-wise, but then sometimes you do see characteristics. You see the mother has blonde hair and big tits. This man goes after blonde hair, big tit women. The woman is a voluptuous woman. The man typically goes after a voluptuous woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's not all cases, so don't quote me and say that I'm saying every man in the world does that. But the men that have the unhealed trauma, the men, you can point them out. You can see them from afar. Their taste, their preferences, everything. It's sociology. It all comes back from your childhood, what you grew up around, what you've seen. And it really hurts, like, sometimes, because, like, I have mommy issues and daddy issues. I was bound to be fucked up. I was bound to have some sort of attachments, issues in general. You know what I'm saying? And believe me, my attachment issues have got me in trouble in life romantically. That's why I've just gave up. Because, like, until I'm fully healed, I don't think that I can have space for anybody else in my life. I'm still trying to figure out how to have space for my own mother. Like, I wanted a good mommy. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a mother that was going to be there for me and talk to me and do all these things. But I ended up being that mother to everybody my entire life. I was a mother. I've been a mother. I've raised my son. When I had him at 16, well, I got pregnant at 16 and had him at 17. I raised him basically on my own. Me and the dad, we were young. He helped me when he could, but we were just abusive. And I say we. There were times he got me a bunch of times, and there were times I got him a bunch of times, like in the beginning. And then when you were in a toxic relationship like that, one of y'all ends up giving up, and then the other one just ends up being the abuser. And that's what happened in my case. And I don't have no ill will towards my son's father at all, because he's a good man down core in his heart. And I believe that if he would have had the proper love from a woman instead of me beating his ass in the beginning, I think that he would have not ever put his hands on me. But when you are raised in the same way with him, when you are raised like that, you are abused. And that's all you see, and that's all you know. You only know how to deal with conflict by striking. And it got bad. An EPO was involved with Sean. And I had to eventually, and this is me not talking bad about his father. This is me just stating like typical factual things. And I had to get an EPO. And he ended up coming in the house and violating the EPO and beating up my boyfriend at the time. And slammed him on a bowling ball. I don't know what the hell was going on there. Sean was supposed to be at school. And I know I'm going to chander off, but this is a story that is still kind of crazy funny. Sean was supposed to be at school. Me and Big Sean was like just in it, like in a fucking fight. We were arguing. He had a new girlfriend who called CPS on me because Sean had ran into my sick. And again, let me mind you, please don't judge me as a child. I was a child raising a kid. And I was raised in an environment that this shit seemed normal at the time. I know now that it's not, but I digress. I was smoking a cigarette and Sean, my son, was a toddler and ran into my cigarette. Like, you know how you have your cigarette down to your side and you're talking to somebody? We went out to eat and we were at Old Charlie's and I put my hand down and he come running, and when he did, it kind of just burnt his he ran right into my cigarette. People that smoke knows that shit happens. You know what I'm saying? So when he went to his dad's for visitation, his dad's girlfriend called CPS on me. Of course, I have my friend over at the time, and CPS comes to my apartment because I was living in HUD Housing, which is like Housing Authority of Louisville, and I lived in Fairdale at Regency Park Apartments. And I had just got back from the grocery. My houses were always clean. Not super clean like they are now because I think that's just fucking me mentally, but like my houses was always, decent. And my son had his own room, all his nice shit. And at this time I was with a man. I'd been with him since me and Sean's dad had broke up. And CPS got called, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So, no. Let me read back. On this instance, when she called, I was not living in Regency at this point. Sorry. This instance, when she called, I was actually staying with my boyfriend at the time, and he lived up on Castle Hill Apartments on St. Andrews Church Road. And then we moved to Regency. Okay. Sorry. Let me tan them back. All right. So when me and the dude I was with, he was not a confrontational guy. And I liked him because he was so sweet and nice. And he would always tell me, like, I don't like the way that this treats you. You need to get out of here. And then we ended up just being together, which was a fucking mistake. But then I didn't realize that I was just going from one person to the next so I wouldn't be alone, because I didn't know how to be alone. I was about to be, I really did love Sean's dad, like, a whole lot. And cheating and the shit he did, I think he was just young, and it just really fucked me up. Like, and I would just fight him because I would be so angry. I didn't know how to say, like, you know what? I love you, and you keep fucking hurting me. We have a kid. Why can't we be a happy family? I fucking tried. I tried so hard. That was all my fucking goal, was to be a great mother, to have that fucking perfect family. I couldn't keep it together, and I felt like a failure. So I thought, let me get with somebody else who's nicer. Maybe I'll have that perfect family. So I had to get the EPO and everything because he was not taking no for an answer. And he was so we had the EPO set up to where you would take your kid to the daycare and drop them off, and we would never have to see each other because, like, come Friday, I would drop Sean off at daycare, and then I wouldn't see him again till Monday afternoon when I picked him up from daycare. And that's how it was for months at this time. Well, it was a Monday morning, and I was asleep because I didn't have to be, at this time, I don't even know what the fuck I was doing. I don't even think I was working. I think my boyfriend was at the time. And I was asleep, and I hear, at this day, he was not at work. He was there with me, and we're asleep. And I hear, I get a phone call, and I pick it up, and it's the daycare, and they're like, I just want to give you a heads up that we could not accept Sean this morning because of, like, he had a light fever, but his father mentioned that he was going to have to bring him to you, and I know you guys have a protective order. And before I could even hang the phone up, I heard the boom, boom, boom on the door, and I hung up on the daycare, and I was like, get ready. That's all I said, because I knew we were about to fucking fight. I said, get ready. And I jumped up and got dressed because had no clothes on, and I heard him outside. See, he was with his friend Brad, and my son was in the back seat in the car seat because he was like 1.5, almost 2. And I heard the boom, 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 and I was like, please don't do anything. Let me go out there. And the dude was like, no, I'm going, like, you're not going to go out there by yourself. And I was like, please, you're going to get fucked up. Like, for real, we can't do this shit. You know what I'm saying? So then I end up stupidly cracking the door and being like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. You got an EPO. And then he kicked the door open. And he was like, yeah, motherfucker. And the dude I was with was just standing there, and he was like, don't start this shit. Get the fuck out of my house. And Big Sean was like, yeah, motherfucker, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You gonna fucking take my girl, you know? And they just started fighting. I was like, oh my God. Well, Sean was getting the best of him. Sean was beating his ass. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I jumped on top of Big Sean, start sticking. Like, I'm on his back. He has these, like, button-up, side-down Adidas pants. And I'm fucking hauling off and hitting him in the face. Like, fucking hitting him in the face. Trying to let him to release old dude. And he ends up dropping old dude on his head on this bowling ball. And knocks him out cold. And then throws me off. And, like, he's done fucked. And he's like, come out there and get your kid, you fucking whore. And I was not even a whore. I don't know what he was talking about. I was just so pissed. I was like, you're going to jail, motherfucker. That's all I kept saying. I was like, you're going to fucking jail. You're stupid as fuck. You could have called me. You are dumb. There's nothing I can do to save you now. You're going to jail. That's what I kept telling him. Like, why would you do this? What the fuck is your problem? And his anger got the best of him. So I went out there. I got Sean, and we came in the house, and I woke old dude up. I was like, hey, you got to call the police. He just violated the EPO. So we called the police. I'm pretty sure they arrest him for violating the EPO. But when we go to court, the dude I was with dropped all charges. He was like, I'm not going to do that to Sean's dad and put him in jail and him not have him as a father around. And he just basically told the courts, just keep him away from me and I'll stay away from him, blah, blah, blah. And then I ended up being with that guy for like 6 years. Me and Sean's daddy never got back together. He ended up getting with a good woman and being with her and having kids. And they have their family, and we co-parent very well. We ended up co-parenting very well up until Sean was 16, and then we got into a big old fucking mess, and it was just crazy shit that I won't go over with right now, but because I ain't trying to get that deep in Mother's Day. But I just thought that little story was like just some backstory of how chaotic shit was when I was younger. Like, it was just like that. And, I look back and I think, God, I wish I could have just gave him, he deserves so much better. My son deserves so much better. And I wish, and I feel guilt. I do. And I think it's the mother guilt. Like, I feel so much guilt because, like, I'm like, he's my world. My son, I love him so much. He was my firstborn. Like, if anything ever happened to him, I think I would physically die. Like, there would be no breath left in my body because I would die. I worry about him so much because he's, 20. I know he's 22. He's a great dad. Oh, my God, y'all. He's an amazing father. He has his anger issues like anybody else because, like, he's my child, and I try to help him work through the shit because he has me and his dad in him. So it's like, God, I love that kid. He's a great father and a great boyfriend. Like, he loves Peyton so much, and he's always speaking so highly and good. Now, don't get me wrong, all relationships are crazy as fuck. So I think a lot of the times, like, they're in front of me, I know that they're the nice and sweet, but I know that every couple's not perfect. I know when they go home, they fighting. And not all the time, but I know it happens. It's life. You know what I'm saying? When you're young, you're figuring all this shit out, and it's hard. Throw a baby and jobs and house and dogs, and you throw everything, and that shit it's life, but it's perfect. Because without all the chaos, you sit in silence. And I have had the unfortunate pleasure to be in both situations to where I had a chaotic home. And I was in a home with multiple people around me all day long for 7 years. And then one day I wasn't. I was in a home by myself waiting to get Bailey on weekends, and it was bad. My mental health was really bad. And that's when I started wanting to learn more about why I am the way that I am. And it all stemmed back to how my mom was with me as a child. So that's why I always speak positivity into Bailey. Now, I'm not fucking perfect. There's times where I'm like, get your fucking shit and let's go, But I say shit with the sarcastic way. I'm just a cusser. I figure fuck needs to be said a lot. And I know sometimes that scares like the older crowd away from me. They're like, you don't have to say fuck so much. I'm like, you don't understand my life. Be glad I'm saying fuck and not sniffing coke off somebody's dick. You know what I'm saying? Fucking yeah. Like, be glad it's the word fuck and me not out being a whore and catching diseases and using my body to help my trauma. And that's one thing I love about myself is that I've been a very selective person with who I share my body with. And this is pisses and it always upsets me and hurts me after the fact that I've gave my body to somebody and they treat me like I'm nothing sometimes. And it takes, I go really long, far times without doing anything with a man. Like, it really takes me time to get an emotional bond to even do anything with a guy. It just, I don't know and I know that all stems back from my, childhood and all that. So you guys don't see that part. You guys see the part where I'm happy, I'm joking, I'm stuff, but I'm fucking chaotic. I'm fucking chaotic sometimes, and my brain never shuts off. Some days I'm so tired of thinking that I need to be completely fucking quiet, and just need to lay there, but then my brain never shuts off. My anxiety's so terrible when I wake up in the morning times that I have to catch my breath sometimes. My anxiety is just, it's so bad. And it makes me overthink, and it makes me overfeel. And I'm in this constant struggle of guilt, happiness, And I always feel like I'm missing pieces of me. I keep giving these small pieces of me to people. And one day I'm not going to be left. Sometimes it just feels like the world is just on top of me and I can't breathe. Even when I'm calm, even when I do the calming thing, I feel like I can't breathe sometimes. I feel like I have all this tremendous stress on me that makes me feel I'm never going to be good enough for anything. I go over things in my head so much, should I have said that to her? Is that going to affect her? I wish sometimes I wasn't as self-aware as I am because I am self-aware, I've had to distance myself from people because I see their patterns, I see how they are, I see how they interact with their kids, and I can't have it because I'm already self-aware and I know what it's doing. So I take on so many people's emotions. I'm such an empath. Y'all don't understand. I can feel people when I'm in the room with them. I can feel their energy. And this ain't no fucking spiritual shit. This is how I've always been. I've always been able to listen to people and listen to them talk and watch them and observe. My entire life I've been like that. Sometimes I'll just sit back and observe people. Not in a creepy way. It's just I like to figure people out. What makes you tick? What makes you this? And what makes you that? And then maybe I could figure out what's wrong with me. And I think I do that to a lot of people. In order for my anxiety to calm down, it's I have to be in maladaptive, I think that's what it's called, a daydream kind of world. I start thinking of daydream scenarios to get out of the terror I'm feeling in my chest. It gets so bad. It feels like somebody has their entire body weight on my body and I can't move. So then I start thinking about happy moments that I had. I'll go back and I'll replace, I'll have them in my head. Happy moments. Sometimes it's hard. All of my happy moments are newer. I don't remember nothing happy from my childhood. like, at all. And that's the sad part about all this, because I'm pretty sure there were some moments, like, I see pictures and I look happy as fuck. I'm like, damn, I don't even fucking remember that. But I can tell you everything else. And sometimes I just wish my mom would have cared a little better, or, was healed, or even knew. She didn't know. She was going through the same shit I'm going through right now. But she didn't take the time to learn herself. She's just so caught up and mentally ill. There's nothing I can do for her. So, like, at 20 something, I realized I had to just accept her for who she was and move on with my life. Stop trying to fix her, because I tried to fix her a lot. And it took a lot out of me, because I was just wanting her to be my mom. I just wanted normal things. Like, that's all I wanted. And now I'm doing that with my child. Like, I'm going to be there for every game. I'm going to be there for everything. I'm going to be there when she has prom. I'm going to be there because I didn't get those things. I didn't have the mom, how you see prom, that shit triggers me, because it's like, I didn't have any of that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it's like to have somebody pick you up, get ready for prom, and go. I don't know. And I think that's why I've always lived in a fantasy world with men. I thought, if I'm this good girl, then I show everybody that I'm this good girl, that if I just died down a bit and not be so crazy and not be so damaged and not be so broken, somebody's gonna come along and it's gonna be like a fairy tale. But then, as I got older and I realized this shit ain't no fucking fairy tale. Nobody's saving me. Nobody's saving me. And that's fine. I'll save myself. So I got the fuck up and I stopped living in imaginary land. Stop thinking that a man was going to cure all my problems, because I had to figure out what was wrong inside of me. And I'm getting there. Now, do I miss having somebody that wants me? Absolutely. Do I miss having a man that be like, how was your day? That genuinely wants to know about my day. I do. I miss that a lot. Somebody that actually wants to talk to me. Like, somebody that benefits from talking to me, that learns from me and doesn't, I don't annoy. I can be a lot. I'm an overshare. I fucking overshare everything. It hurts a lot sometimes, being me. But I don't mind taking the pain, because everybody's happy, somewhat. I don't mind feeling all this pain inside. Every day, I feel pain. Every day, it's like being cut with 1,000,000 paper cuts. That's what it feels like. Inside my soul, though. So it's like my soul is sad inside. And it's not my soul, it's the little girl inside me that's just so sad. And sometimes I think, damn, God, when's it gonna not be sad? I'm doing the work. I'm doing the good deeds. And I don't do good deeds for this reason. I just do it because it makes me feel better. Sometimes doing great things for people or helping people makes me feel so good inside. So I do that. And it could be a selfish part, because I'm just trying to feel better, but I want to help. If I can help anybody, I want to help. That's me. That's always been me. It ain't a front when I put this shit on and I say that I have a really good heart. I really have a good heart. I would really help anybody in any situation. Unfortunately, people like me get treated the worst. And it's sad, because it's like I have so much love to share, and I would be great in a relationship. I am great. But the moment that I start feeling down and bad, or if I start getting mistreated, it turns me into somebody else. And I just hate that. I spent a long time hating my mother, but here lately, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety. Like, she's going to die one day, and I don't know how I'm going to handle it. And I've never had to feel that before, because before I used to wish her dead.
I used to sit around and wish that she would just die. That maybe my life would be a little easier. And now, that's my biggest, like, regret that I ever said that. Because what, like, I used to think, what if God, like, says, okay, I'm going to make you the happiest. And then I'm going to take your mom and then you're going to be sad again. My biggest fear when I'm growing attached to people, and this is why I don't get animals. I'm too, as much as I like to act like, I don't, my cousins and them rag on me because I'm like not an animal person. I'm not psychotic. I love them. Like, I want to love them. It's just that I know me, that if I lost something that was with me all day, every day, I won't be able to come back from that. The depression of something so close to me and losing it for life, forever, because death is permanent. I know not to get attached to animals because I already know they're going to die and I'm going to be fucked up. And that's the thought process I had with my mom for the longest time. I knew to keep her at arm's distance. Even still, to this day, I keep her at arm's distance because I think that the blow is going to be lesser, but it's not going to be lesser. And I really realize now that when she does go, that I'm going to be an orphan, basically. But I've been an orphan my whole life, so it's not anything different. I love my mother very much now. And it took me a long time to be able to even say that out loud. I see that she's damaged and hurt, and she has her own set of insecurities and everything. So now I just let her be her. When she's around, I let her be her. When she wants to go on a rage and start cussing people, if it's toxic around Bailey, I get Bailey up and we leave. But I let her vent because she has no one. She's utterly alone and just has people around her that just enable her. And it doesn't matter how smart I am as a daughter. It doesn't matter if I sit up and I tell her a million things. You can't tell my mom nothing. She's one of those people that has to figure things out on her own. And you know how hard it is to sit back with all the knowledge that I have, and I know that I can help her, and I know that I could, there's me trying to fix her again. And I had to stop because it was driving me crazy. Anybody I meet, I care for. If we've had a conversation and we've talked on deeper levels, and you're not in my life anymore, just know I still think about you. And I will always think about them because of who I am. And even though things didn't work out with me and you, like me and a man or me and anybody, I'm always going to be thinking about how they're doing and how they're feeling. That's just me as a person. When I meet these men and I get so attached, like I still think about certain people that I shouldn't be thinking about because like it's over between us and I probably haven't talked to them. But still in my head I'm thinking, I wonder if they're doing okay. I hope everything's fine. And I pray. Like I hope they get everything they wanted. Even if it wasn't me, I'm glad that, they're reaching their happiness. It's been very hard since I've been single because everybody that I've slept with I've got attached to. And I haven't slept with a lot of people. It's just, I realize now that I can't have casual sex and I can't casually just do this hookup culture anymore because of who I am and who raised me. My attachment issues are too fucking deep. So now anybody that says anything to me about casual, I bounce out because I can't do it. I already know. I tried it last year. I tried to do the casual, but I'm insane and I can't. Because I'm always going to assume that somebody wants me for more because they're sitting and talking to me. But nowadays people don't do that. They just talk to you to pass the time and you're one of a billion. So it is what it is. The main part that I hate is that I'm still attached. And I'm trying to work on trying to forget these motherfuckers. God, you know how hard that is? When you're an attached person. And I'm attached because I wasn't loved properly as a child. I know these things. So then it makes me mad again at my mom. But then it comes with pros and cons. It's like, Do I want to be the sympathetic person where I can feel everybody's feelings and maybe they're talking to me help them in some way? So I don't mind the attachments, and I don't mind being the person that listened. I don't mind it anymore because at the end of the day, somebody needs to talk to somebody. At least if somebody reaches out to me and talks to me, they know I'm going to give my honest opinion, and I'm there for anybody. If anybody needed anything, I would be there in a heartbeat. I'd be helping any way I can. Sometimes people just need to be heard. And you don't even got to say anything. You just got to listen. I'm going to end this podcast today with it's Mother's Day, you guys. It's Mother's Day weekend. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Take the day, relax. You mothers have been rocking it, doing amazingly. Don't listen to yourself when you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I can't do this anymore. Yes, you can. You can do anything you put your mind to. Believe that. If you're in a situation where you're sad, do not let your bad situation ruin your day tomorrow. Tomorrow's for you. Love your child. If you're having man trouble, any troubles you've had in your life, your children will see you through it. Hug them. Love them. Give them attention. Give them love. Talk to them. These are tiny humans still, okay? Even if they're teenagers, even if they're ignoring you half the time, they're going to look back eventually and be like, you know what? Mom was right. So talk to them, no matter what age, no matter what they do. Anything that somebody does for you tomorrow, be appreciative of it because you have that in your life. And you're being praised as a great mother because that's what you are. And I hope y'all have a great week, and I hope y'all have a great... I don't even know what fucking holiday's coming up. Shit. Maybe I need to look that up. But check out my TikTok, Brandy is Loud, if you have not been on there. Every day I'm uploading stories. Every day I'm talking about my mom. I'm going to plan to have something with my mom. It's just really hard to get her settled down, and she's never on time for nothing. So you kind of got to just get what you get. So, love your children. Hug on them. Physical touch. Give them a hug. Tell them they're beautiful. Tell them to talk about whatever they want to talk about that you're listening. But guess what? Tomorrow's for you guys. You let them sit around and you talk to them. Say, you know what? I'm always your therapist. You can be mine today. No. Let them do the laundry and shit tomorrow. All right, guys. You have a great day.